Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. So hello everyone. I hope all of you can hear me. If you have any questions, I'm already looking at the chat. So mostly, if there are some good questions, I would take up all of those questions in between, and if not, I'll try to cover as much as I can at the very end of the session. So the reason why I like to keep this session very quick and not take so much of your time, within 15 to 20 minutes, we'll try to iterate upon most of the important things that you need to cover for product based and FAANG companies, right? And we'll try to also cover service based companies as well. Obviously, there's basic foundational knowledge that you need to know for service based companies, and additional to that, there are a few extra things that you need to do for product based companies, right? So, and one more thing is, I'm sorry if there's some little noise from the background. I'm shooting from office from my desk, so apologies for that, right? So, basic FAANG, right? I hope that all of you know that FAANG is Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, and generally all the other product-based companies. Even if you don't get placed in FAANG companies, other product-based companies are also really good, right? So you must look at the tech stack of most of these companies to decide upon this. Now, very quickly, one more thing is, make sure that you follow us on all the social media channel. Link is in the description of the video. The reason why is because we post a lot of off-campus rides. So as you can see, Ola, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Cisco, these companies are hiring. Follow, right? So this is marketing. I guess we increase the price. So this is the slide from last 1.5 months. Prices have been increased by 2,000 each. You can check Prep Insta Prime a little later, right? So let's go ahead with understanding of this. So basically, ideally, what we'll be doing is there's a product-based company. This is basically for you to this particular session is for me to help you understand how do you prepare for product-based companies. But the foundations of that I will build for service-based companies, as I said, right? So for any service-based company, the ideally your preparation journey or their interview process follows like you'll do registration and then there would be resume shortlisting. But for service-based companies, only Deloitte, ZS, and KPMG are the companies which will be doing shortlisting. However, if I change it to product-based company, so in that case, all the product-based companies would be doing resume shortlisting, and approximately 70% of the people will get shortlisted by just resume. So I'll very also quickly before moving to the next slide, I'll also show you a few resumes. And because a lot of people are like, okay, I applied to Goldman, I applied to Facebook, I applied to XYZ company, but I didn't get an email for the online test. It was a fake job opportunity. So actually, it's not a fake job opportunity. Your resume is not good, so which is why you're in the resume shortlisting, you're getting rejected. Then there's an online test. Generally for service-based company, aptitude, coding, programming, MCQ, C++. But in the case of product-based companies, here you will have additionally DSA and competitive coding questions, right? And then we'll also talk about advanced coding questions, which basically, if you consider TCS Digital or Infosys power programmer, SP or DSP role, or cognizant agency role, those are almost falling in the category of product based companies only. So they will be asking you all of those questions. Then technical interview, HR interview, selection, rejection. So the only difference in service based companies and product based company in terms of the recruitment processes, resume shortlisting will be there in all of them. However, in the service-based companies, the resume shortlisting is only for the Deloitte, ZS, and KPMG like companies. And here in the coding part, there would be DSA and competitive coding. In service-based company, no, basically competitive programming will not be there, but DSA can be there in some. And basically technical interview again, skills and competitive coding and DSA. But we'll talk a little more about that. Let's move on to resumes here. Now, if you look at this thing, so I want you to take the screenshot of this. So this is basically when TCS hires you, they have a form to fill. So you take a multiple screenshot of this. So this is, I just wanted to very quickly show you. So they give you a lot of marks for individual parameters. So make sure that you take a screenshot of this. High importance is given based upon digital skills. They will be asking you that, okay, have you done any certifications? Can you show me the code? And if you're not able to show the code and the working project in the interview, and you've just written 2 lines about it, so in that case, you'll get rejected. But moving further to our actual agenda of resumes. So I have a few resumes that I want to review very, very quickly to help you understand product-based companies rejection. Why does it happen? First of all, you should not write career objective. Nobody is interested in reading a paragraph about it. Obviously, they will ask you your introduction, right? And don't waste a lot of time. Okay, I've done it from this school. To be honest, if let's say you're 30-year-old, are you really interested that okay, he's done his schooling from Dr. Shakuntala Mishra National Rehabilitation or not, for example, Mahatma Gandhi Inter College, Gorakhpur, etc., etc. Don't talk about your class 10th and 12th. Just mention that okay, percentage value and year of passing out, right? You have this person has wasted so much time in unnecessary information. And to be honest, please do not mention in skill Microsoft Office, Microsoft PowerPoint, Canva, and all the other things. Nobody is interested in that. You're just wasting your time. We are these company, product-based companies, or even service-based company are hiring you for coding. If you write Photoshop, Adobe, PowerPoint, Excel, so this sounds like a person who's interviewing for a basically tech writing job or basically data entry job sort of scenario. So don't write that. Certifications again, so this person has done only one certification, which is why he'll get rejected. And projects, just written the name of the project, no GitHub link, no link to let's say YouTube video wherein you've explained the project. And summer training, only one summer training. And nobody is interested in your mother name, father name, right? This is like, don't mention things that people are not interested in. And declaration, etc., right? Same thing goes by. This is very important. So this person I would have rejected directly. Plus, I've written this. So basically, if you look closely, I've written this old template taken from brother. So this is also a very bad example of resume. So basically what has happened is he's taken this resume template from his earlier brother who would have created it on Google Docs. And for years and years, the same resume is going on. So if your resume is looking like this or this, please make sure that you don't write resumes like this. Your resume should be cool looking. So I'll show you a few examples of those resume. So your resume should look like probably this, and it can be 2 page, 3 page, etc., etc. Don't. A lot of people say this that okay, resume should be 1 page only. Now, yes, this is true, but for experienced candidates, because for experienced candidate, what happens is there's an AI who's reading stuff from your resume, right? So basically, sometimes that AI is not able to work perfectly and extract things out of your resume. So can you just give me one moment? Right. So, which is why your resume should be 1 page. So basically, there's a tool which you have to pull from your resume, which is why, right? So your resume ideally should look like this, and it can be 3, 4 pages as long as you want it to be. The reason why, because you're actually sitting in an interview. So in that case, if it's a 4 page resume, so the person has half an hour or 45 minutes or 1 hour to go through the resume. It's not like that, okay, based upon 1 page, somebody is deciding within 30 seconds that, okay, hiring or rejection, which may happen in the case of experienced people that, okay, they receive 10,000 resumes So in that case, they may reject within 30 minutes. So ideally, your interview resume and your application resume should be different. So your interview resume should be 4 to 5 pages. However, your application resume should be 1 page. So this is a good design of a resume. This is of one of our students. This is also one of the good design of resume. You can use Canva. This is also a very good one example of resume. It's texty, but it's good. Everything is organized really well. Now there are few issues in this resume which I like to explain you. So even though this resume is very bad in terms of UI, however, what the person has done is they've given the direct links of their projects here. Now this is a resume that if probably looked like in terms of UI like this, then it would have had been a little good. But this is also fine. Why? Because they've mentioned their project, they've mentioned their information about the project, but more importantly, they've given the link. So if I click upon that link, actually something will happen. People will be able to see that okay, this was my resume or quiz game. So GitHub links and so on, so on. Make sure that you do. For example, if you just do this, I'll very quickly show you. If I see somebody, let's say project one, and they've just written this. So if I'm interviewing you for FAANG company or product based company, my next question as soon as I come to apparel recommendation system would be, can I see this? Now, ideally you would say, sir, it's on GitHub, or you will say, okay, it's on GitHub and demo is on YouTube. Both of these links are, again, click here, Bitly link, click here, Bitly link, but it's not there. So in that case, I would ask you, can you share your screen and show me? Now the reason is, now the very important thing is a lot of people do this, and which is why they get rejected in interview and also resume shortlisting is, so specifically in interviews is they say, okay sir, it was a group project, I don't have it. It is with my friend. Immediately I know you did not do it, somebody else did that. Second thing that a lot of people would do is, that sir, my computer got formatted and I don't have it with me anymore because it was in my last system. So immediately you will get rejected. You are being hired for a product based company role or even service based company role. You've written projects. The company first and foremost wants to see projects. So projects first, competitive coding second, DSA third, and then skills and certifications fourth, right? So if you are not able to show them that, so in that case they'll reject you because they want to understand, can you come in a company and can you start coding from day one? Which is the difference between service based and product based company is that service based company, they'll train you for 3 months, will give you testing or old technology, but product based company will be like, okay, come here, take 2 days, look at the code of the senior developer, from day three start coding, and your code should be optimized. So I'll give you an example. So let's say if somebody writes a code in on square, but somebody is writing the same code in log n of time. So in that case, what would happen is I would select the log n person. Why? Because to be honest, real world application of this is, let's say you work in Amazon and there are 1 crore times a particular code is running every day. So AWS cost is being wasted humongously in the ON square code, and n log n code or log n code, AWS cost is saved. So probably every day you are saving 1-2 lakhs of the company because the code optimization is being done and the cost of running the code is lesser, performs faster, uh, uses less computation, thus saves money for the company because less AWS cost also. So very, very important here. Now, for the same exact thing, what we've done is, which is why we launched Prepinsta Prime. So we created a section called as projects. So even if you don't have projects, so projects like Zomato review analysis, image recognition, movie recommendation maker, big basket cart optimization, etc. So this is something that we suggest. Apart from that, again, machine learning course that we have created. So I'll just very quickly play that down for you also in 2x. Works in really good way. So there's a humongous amount of animations as you can see here. Uh, right. So the whole course is like that, and particularly at very end of the course there are projects. So as you can see, one of the projects is mask recognition. So let's say if you click upon run, automatically mask recognition, you wear a mask and you are able to show the working demo of the project, which is very, very highly important for you. So that's one thing. Now moving ahead further, just give me a second. Right. So very quickly, I'll just deviate from it. So there are few additional things that you need to do for product-based companies. So for service-based companies, aptitude previous year papers, a lot of them are repeated. As much as 60-70% of the previous year papers are repeated in any particular service-based or product-based written rounds. Mock test, C, Java, Python, DSA, input-output questions, certifications, very, very important. Projects is a must. DBMS and SQL if you're appearing for 4 to 6 LPA, OSCN, SDLC if you are a CSIT student, and GD puzzles and HR, right? However, there are a few additional things that you need to do for product-based companies. Here, advanced DSA, projects, competitive coding. These are very important. So, what do I mean by advanced DSA? So, service-based companies will ask you DSA to a limited level. In fact, we created a course on Prep Insta Prime, which says DSA for service-based companies. So, almost everything would be covered: graph, trees, linked list, etc. But only till a certain difficulty. But in the case of general DSA course, so for example, if you look at this course, so in that case, the difficulty level and the number of questions would be 3x, 4x in comparison to this particular course here. So advanced DSA, optimizations, code of the data structures, projects, as I discussed earlier, competitive coding, SQL, DBMS, and OS, mandatory for everybody. Even if you're a CSIT student or non-CSIT student, this is important. Certification and lead code and code forces. So ideally, to be honest, they will ask you questions in the interview based upon advanced DSA and competitive coding. But if you add your lead code and code forces profile in the resume, so it'll help them a little in resume shortlisting. That okay, this is somebody who's a 5-star on lead code, 4-star, etc., etc. So this gives them at the time of resume shortlisting a little bit of confidence. But anyways, you will be asked your lead code or code forces ranking will not help you in the interview, because they will ask you their own questions and your selection rejection depends upon if you are able to solve those particular questions or not, right? One more thing that I would like to highlight here is there are service based companies who have advanced offers. So for example, TCS Digital, Innovator, Cognizant, Gen C Pro, Gen C Next, Wipro, Star Programmer, Power Programmer. So the packages of this is higher than 3 LPA. So in that case, it's 11 LPA for Innovator, 11 LPA for Wipro Star, Infosys SP. It's increased now. It's 9.5 LPA. So these higher packages of service-based companies also in the uh, context of preparation, ideally you should be looking at them as product-based company preparation itself, right? So you'll be asked basically the same thing that I've mentioned here for digital and SP, DSP, etc., roles as well, right? Now, there's one more thing that these companies has done. So this is basically taken from Cognizant. So Cognizant last year when they hired, and even this year they will when they will announce their hiring for 23 batch, they will mention this that okay, for our different roles we are looking for these skills. Now, if you get selected for the 4 LPA role, 90% of the people would be working as a quality engineer, which is basically a testing profile. If you know Java, IoT, etc. So in that case, this 4 LPA plus skill bonus. However, if you look at the highest offer, which is 6.75 LPA, in that case, AWS, cybersecurity, data scientist, advanced .NET, Python, full stack, big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So if you have skills in them, if you have certifications in them, if you have projects in them, you will get a higher offer that's directly coming from the company. And even these guys asked questions, or let's say to show projects, to share your screen, run the code, remove the code, write the code again. So very, very important. However, they have one more thing which is called as Cognizant Orbit Shifter, which is that you join Cognizant, and this is also same for TCS as well. You join TCS at a ninja profile, you can switch to a digital or an innovator profile via internal hiring. So, but in that case, also what will happen is, let's say if you join Cognizant as a 4 LPA package, but in that case, also after 1 year, internally there will be a written test which will have competitive coding, data structures, etc., etc. Everybody would be eligible. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year experienced person. If they perform well in that, then again interview same things as, because again this is a higher package role offered by the company. They want you to be a better coder. They want you to have better skills, which is why they are paying you extra. So all of these things would be something that you need to keep handy. So in terms of that, okay, so I hope that you can see me. My internet is working. There's some issue with the light, which will come very soon. So, in the case of this, again, in the Prep Insta Prime subscription, you have some courses. So, for example, for the coding part, what we suggest is that you go ahead with the basic coding course. Yeah. So for non-CSIT people, and we've created two courses called as Basic Coding, Intermediate Coding. Basic Coding is a course that's ideal for people who don't even know syntax. So let's say some mechanical student, I will ask them to write "Hello World" in C++. They wouldn't even remember namespace, STD, or IO stream, return zero, bracket open, bracket close. So this is very basic. People are mechanical, civil, biotech people asked us for this because they were like, okay, we studied that 4 years ago. Now we need the course for it, which is that. Intermediate coding is ideal for service-based company. To be honest, this course basically, if you complete this, you will be prepared for service-based company, and then competitive coding and data structures in C, C++, Java, Python, all the different languages. Competitive coding courses also in all languages. If I show it to you very quickly, uh, the DSA course, if I open any particular topic from here, so let's say print node at kth distance, right? So it will more or less look like this. So I'll play this video from the middle. So if you, again, there's demo video button here, so you can check all of that here. My internet, I guess, isn't working properly, so I'm not able to. Okay, so it works. Right. So more or less, the lecture for this is like this. If I open the competitive coding course, so this is one of the very famous problem called as aggressive cows, which is in the
let's say
application of
x value.
which is in the application of searching and sorting. So I'll play this video in 2x. In the meantime, I'll talk about it. So very, very important. So ideally, you should be covering the competitive coding course basics, and then you should be going ahead to lead code or core forces, etc., to practice questions later. So a lot of people make this mistake is that they go to HackerRank or HackerEarth first, and then they go to lead code and code forces first. But you should do that later. First you complete the competitive coding course, first you complete the data structures course, any course that you've taken, and then once you've completed the whole course, then you go ahead and practice on a daily basis. Now the reason why it happens is because you will not know the foundation, so you'll more or less be copy pasting code from the internet and backtracking and learning from that. So very important stuff to do there. Right. So I'm gonna be taking up questions now. So whatever questions that you have, you can throw all of those in the comment section. Just give me 1 second. I have Prime subscription now. Tell me which course I have to complete to get selected for product-based company. So what we've done here is we created a track for you, and more tracks are coming. So ideally, if you go to this particular course roadmap, so tracks for product-based companies, it will automatically be suggesting you that okay, these are the courses that you need to complete the whole things, and don't worry about it. So ideally, whatever I mentioned, whatever I've mentioned in this slide, these are foundational courses. Apart from that, extra stuff that mentioned on this particular slide. But again, if you go to that particular course, you will know what to complete. Uh, okay, so one person is also asking same. I've taken Prime. Almost everybody is taken Prime. Anytime relatable to HR position. So basically, for HR, we have these courses called as here. So group discussions, HR interview, and so on, and puzzles. So puzzles is very, very important. There are going to be companies, mostly product-based companies, wherein you will think that okay, I got rejected in an HR interview. Why? Now they asked me 5 puzzles, 2, 3 basic HR questions, and 10 minutes was the time. Now the reason why you got rejected is somebody answered 5 out of 5 puzzles, but somebody else or you answered 4 out of 5. So it's basically they have a number of people that they have to select from a college is defined. That okay, 10 people we will select for from this particular college, but finally they end up having 25 people. So which is why they shortlist people based upon their performance in HR also. So ideally, puzzles is what you should be doing definitely. Apart from that, one more thing that I would like to mention: there are companies like Big Four companies like Ernest and Young, ZS, Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, which will ask you guess estimates and case study. Apart from that, ZS Associates, View Sigma. So these data-based companies will ask you guess estimates. In fact, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. So 50% of their interview would be coding, 50% would be guess estimates and case study. So lead code enough for FAANG? To be honest, yes. Because how will you finish lead code? If you want to finish lead code daily, 5 to 6 hours for about 1 year is what you have to spend, right? So to be honest, if you are able to complete lead code honestly without copy pasting stuff from the internet, so yeah, perfect. So suggest a roadmap for third year mechanical student knowing data structures. So ideally with Prep and Stuff Prime, what I would suggest is C, C++, definitely. Even if you're a Python or a Java developer, need to complete these courses because ours has MCQs in written round, ours in the interview as well. When Java or Python, any one of them, I would suggest Python because for AI and ML role, Python would be a little better. Then basic coding, intermediate coding, data structures in your preferred language, and competitive coding. Aptitude is something that a lot of people ignore. Now, you should not be ignoring this. The reason being, uh, that let's take an example of Deloitte, right, or even let's say Google or any other company, right? So what would happen is they would send like 5 people to a college to interview, 5 HR, 5 technical person. Now each person can interview 5 person each in a day. So 25 interviews is what they can take at max. And let's assume there are 2,000 people in that college. So what would happen is approximately 80% of the people they will reject, a product based company will reject in resume shortlisting based upon projects mentioned in the resume, GitHub links given, lead code given, projects demo YouTube videos given. Then out of the rest 20%, 15% they would reject in the written round. Now, only 5% of the people will be going to the interview, even lesser than that. So, most of these companies will have in written round, aptitude round as well. Even for TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, 80% of the people get rejected in the written round itself. So, if you don't clear the written round, or if you are not able to be in the top 20 percentile in the written round, you'll not be able to demonstrate your skills in the interview. So, there is no point of doing not clearing this. Apart from that, there are company specific micro courses. Once you've completed these foundational courses, then you go ahead and complete this company specific micro courses as well, right? Then DBMS, SQL, SDLC, so on, so on. Okay. So one more thing is, I see that a lot of people have a lot of questions. I want to keep this video short because uh, people who will be watching it a little later after the live also, they should not be distracted a lot. So what you can do is you can always DM me here. So this is my Instagram account, atelier.kaushik. I mostly reply to most of the messages here. But very, very, very important for most of you is if you have further questions, you can always DM us on our Instagram page as well. We receive like 600, 700 messages on a daily basis. In fact, I am not able to move my system completely, but there are people sitting there who will take care of your Instagram or who will take care of the queries of your Instagram as well. So yeah, reach out to us via our Instagram, my Instagram, Prep Insight Instagram. This is how we'll help you. What are the best certifications for selecting service-based and product-based companies? So generally, I would suggest artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. These are the hot ones. I'm not a big fan of uh, full stack web development. There are two reasons. It'll take you 6 months to complete full stack web development because it's too vast. Need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Node.js, React, maybe Angular also, and then frameworks, Bootstrap. So take 6 months. However, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence would hardly take 20 days to complete with good projects. Second thing is there are packages depend upon demand and supply. There are higher number of people because everybody is mad about web development. So there are higher number of people who are skilled in web development or Java or Python, right? So which is why there's a huge supply. There's demand as well in the market, but demand supply gap is not too much. However, in the case of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, business intelligence, data analytics, uh, the demand supply gap is huge. So there's higher demand, and there are people skilled there, but the gap is large. So which is why I would suggest that. Which is why we've also on Prime created courses for that. So ideally, as you can see, so artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, cloud computing, business intelligence, NLP, and deep learning. So that's pretty much about it. If you have any questions, just DM us, and that's it from my end. Right, Aditya, you can start with the trailer if you like.